We are on day 23 of our chronological Bible reading plan. We're going to look at Exodus 16, 17, and 18. I'm on break and I'm in my car. Let's go ahead and go into prayer. Today, we're just going to say the Our Father together because that is what Jesus Christ taught us to pray. And it's not necessarily for us to be reciting it exactly, whereas it is for us to learn how to pray. Greeting our Father who is in heaven, and recognizing how great he is, applying his will and saying, your will be done and not mine. So let's go ahead and do the Our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so Exodus 16. And they, the Israelites, journeyed from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after they departed from the land of Egypt. Then the whole congregation of children of Israel complained against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said to them, "Oh, that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat and when we ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into the wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger." Then Yahweh said to Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain quota every day, that I must test them whether they will walk in my law or not. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Then Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, At evening you shall know that the Lord has brought you out of the land of Egypt. And in the morning you shall see the glory of Yahweh, for he hears your complaints against the Lord. But what are we that you complain against us? Also Moses said, This shall be seen when Yahweh gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning bread in the full. For Yahweh hears your complaints which you make against him. And what are we? Your complaints are not against us, but against Yahweh. Then Moses spoke to Aaron, Say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he has heard your complaints. Now it came to pass, as Aaron spoke to the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of Yahweh around appeared in the cloud. And Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, I have heard the complaints of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, At twilight you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread. And you shall know that I am Yahweh the Lord your God. So it was that quail came up at evening and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay all around the camp. And when the layer of dew lifted, there on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance, as fine as frost on the ground. So when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, What is it? For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, This is the bread which Yahweh has given you to eat. This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need. 1 omer for each person. According to the number of persons, let every man take for those who are in his tent. Then the children of Israel did so and gathered, some more, some less. So when they measured it by omers, he who gathered much had nothing left over, and he who gathered little lacked nothing, had no lack. Every man had gathered according to each one's needs. And Moses said, Let no one leave any of it till morning. Notwithstanding, they did not heed Moses. But some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moses was angry with them. So they gathered it every morning, every man according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted. And so it was on the 6th day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. Then Moses said to them, "This is what Yahweh has said. Tomorrow is a Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake today, and boil what you will boil, and lay up for yourselves all that remains to be kept until morning." So they laid it up till morning, so as Moses commanded, and it did not stink, nor were there any worms in it. Then Moses said, "Eat that today, for today is the Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, the Sabbath, there will be none." Now it happened that some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather, but they found none. And Yahweh said to Moses, "How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? Therefore he gives you on the 6th day bread for 2 days. Let every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day." So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called its name manna. And it was like white, and it was like white coriander seed. And the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. Then Moses said, "This is the thing which Yahweh has commanded. Fill an omer with it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a pot and put an omer of manna in it, and lay it up before the Lord, to be kept for generations. As Yahweh commanded Moses, so Aaron led it up before the testimony to be kept." And the children of Israel ate manna for 40 years, until they came to an inhabitable land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is 1/10 of an ephron. Okay, so now we see that they are grumbling. The Israelites are beginning to grumble yet again. And they're saying, "Why did you bring us out here? To kill us of starvation? What is wrong with you?" And Moses says, hey, listen. You're not mad at me. You're not mad at Aaron. Your problem is with the Lord, with Yahweh. So I think you need to take it up with him. So Yahweh says, "Look, I'll take good care of you. I am going to rain manna down every morning, so you will be fed. And every night you will have quail." But here's the kicker. Every morning when you collect the manna, you collect it 6 days, just enough for that day. 5 days you collect just enough for that day. They collected. Some of them decided, I'm going to take a little more, make sure I got some food in the morning. Yahweh made sure that there were worms and it was stinking, and nobody's going to eat that. So what they learned is obedience to the Lord. And they would collect for 5 days, or 6 days, 5 days they collected enough for 1 serving. On the 6th day, they worked a little extra hard because they collected enough for 2 days of servings. Food for the 6th and for the 7th, because on the 7th day, they were to keep Sabbath and rest. Because again, Yahweh established the Sabbath from the very beginning of creation. He worked 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. And that is what they're doing here. Yahweh rains down manna for 6 days. They collect enough for them to eat every day. On the 6th day, enough for the 7th day to be covered. The 7th day, they rest. They don't go out to collect things. They spend time resting with the Lord and with one another, and they eat what they have gathered the day before. So I love that Moses calls them out and said, "Don't look at me. I didn't bring you out in the wilderness. Aaron didn't. That was the Lord, our God, the Creator. Go talk to him." But as always, this is what we see. Yahweh is not only a protector, he's also the provider. He provides everything they need. Not what they want, but what they need. We hear too that they are going to be eating this manna for 40 years. Chapter 17. Then all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sin, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people contended with Moses and said, "Give us water that we may drink." So Moses said to them, "Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?" And the people thirsted there for water, and the people complained against Moses and said, "Why is it that you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst?" So Moses cried out to the people, saying, "What shall I do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me." And Yahweh said to Moses, "Go on before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. Behold, I will stand before you on the rock in Hebron, and you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink." And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of that place Mashiah and Meribah, because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" They just get manna and quail. And now they're like, "Oh, no, that's not good enough. Now we need water." They complain instead of saying, "Hey, Moses, we need water. What's the Lord going to do about it?" They're complaining again, saying, "You brought us here to kill us." Yahweh says, "Here we go. This is what we're going to do. Go out there, take your rod, strike the rock. I'll be there, and I will make sure that you're taken care of." And the Lord is there. Chapter 17, verse 8. Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim, and Moses said to Joshua, "Choose us some men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Yahweh in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up on the top of the hill. And so it was, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands became heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat and rested on it. And he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Write this for a memorial in the book and recount it on the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heaven." And Moses built an altar and called its name, "The Lord is my banner." Yahweh Nisi. For he said, "Because Yahweh has sworn, the Lord will have war with Amalek for generation to generation." So here we see the Amalekites, they are not good. And Yahweh says, you are going to need to take over and go to war with them in order to get to the land of Canaan. So he tells Moses, you got to go up to the top of the hill, and I will be with you. Moses puts his hands up in the air, and every time he puts his hands up, the Lord is on their side, and he is winning the battle. Joshua is down there fighting the battle. So Moses throws his hands up, praising the Lord, saying he's got him, and they are winning. He gets tired, his hands go down, and they start to lose. But Moses has surrounded himself with good people. He's got his brother Aaron and Hur, and those two are surrounding him. So when he's getting tired, they go, "Oh, let me help you." They get him to a stone, and they let him sit on the stone, and then they help hold his hands up. So Joshua ends up winning the battle of against the Amalekites. And he wins. And I want you, excuse me, I want you to see something about that. Yahweh's character. He is our victory. He will fight with us and for us. But we need to be obedient in doing that. And we need to surround ourselves with people who will fight alongside with us, with the Lord, not fight against us in the Lord's will. We need to make sure that we have Aaron and Hur with us. People who will hold our hands up when the storms are too much for us. When you are tired and you are weary, who do you go to? Do you go to friends who are going to let you live in your emotions and pat you on the back, or tell you good job for your bad behavior, or let you wallow in your self-pity? Or are you going to have people who surround you who are going to say, let's look at what the word says. Who is the Lord? What has he promised you? How can we rely on him? Let's take it to the Lord. Let me hold your arms up and praise him if you can't. Those are the people you surround yourself with, just like Moses did. And now this is a huge victory for them. And this victory is going to get back to all the surrounding towns. Chapter 18 is where we're going to end today. And Jethro, the Midian priest, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that Yahweh had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, that Yahweh had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back with her 2 sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a foreign land, and the name of the other was Elzah, for he said, the God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife to Moses in the wilderness, where he was encamped at the mountain of God. Now he said to Moses, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and your 2 sons with her. So I guess at some point Moses was like, all right, this is a little too much. I need you to go home with the kids, and I'll take them where they need to be. Jethro hears of the success that Moses has brought the Israelites out of Egypt. He's heard about the Red Sea and now he's heard about the Amalekites. He sees and hears about the Lord being with Joseph. And he says, I'm coming to you. Being with Moses. And he says, I'm coming to you, Moses, and I'm bringing your wife and your children. Verse 7, so Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, bowed down and kissed him, and they asked each other about their well-being, and they went into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that Yahweh had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake, all the hardships that had come upon them on the way, and how the Lord had delivered them. Then Jethro rejoiced for all the good which the Lord had done for Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the very thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to Yahweh. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before Yahweh. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit, and all the people stand before you from morning until evening? And Moses said to his father-in-law, Because the people come to me to inquire of Yahweh. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and the other, and I make known the statutes of Yahweh and his laws. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you do is not good. Both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it all by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and Yahweh will be with you. Stand before Yahweh for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk, and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall elect from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating controversy, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10. And let them judge the people at all the times. Then it will be that every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing, and Yahweh so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and this people will also go to their place in peace." So Moses heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers over thousands, rulers over hundreds, rulers over 50s, and rulers over 10s. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went on his way to his own land. So we end today seeing Moses meeting up with his father-in-law Jethro, seeing his wife and his kids again. And Jethro and them eat. Jethro's like, "Your Lord is the God of all gods. He is the most powerful. There are no others besides yours." Because remember, Jethro is not one who follows Yahweh. He knows that Yahweh is real. He knows that Yahweh is a God, but he doesn't understand that he is the most powerful God. He is the one true living God until now. Now he sees that Yahweh is the one true living God, and he says, "Let's do a sacrifice." They have a sacrifice, they eat together, and then the next day, Jethro's like, "Whoa, what are you doing, Moses? You're sitting out here all day listening to people complain and bring their devices. This is never going to work for any of you. This is what you need to do. Just listen to what I'm telling you." So he helps set up a court system, a judging system. And it's really where he takes people who are God-fearing men, who have high standards. They hate controversy. They trust in the truth. They fear the Lord. And Moses places them on above other people. Some have thousands, some have hundreds, 50s, and 10s. And they rule over those areas. And they come and people tell them their problems or what conflict they have that they need to get figured out. And once it's figured out, sometimes those people who are the overseers or the judges or whatever you want to call them, they are able to go ahead and come to a conclusion. But when there's something that's so difficult that they cannot come to the conclusion, they bring it over to Moses, and then Moses talks with them, brings it to the Lord, and then the answer is done. So Jethro plays a huge part in helping Moses learn how to be a good leader. And then Jethro and Moses take leave. Jethro goes back home, and Moses is left there. And that's how we're going to end today. Remember that you are the salt and the light of the world. Go and be it.